Live. This is News 12 This Morning. On your side.
And good morning. It is 6:29. I'm Meredith Anderson.
And I'm Monique Williams. Thanks so much for joining us for News 12 This Morning. Here's a quick look at our top stories.
A national walkout could be affecting your child. How school officials are reacting in a moment.
Plus, an early morning fire at an apartment complex on Skinner Mill Road. What we know so far.
And we're still in the cold here with freeze warnings until 9 a.m. widespread across the two-state. Those forecasts for 30s and 40s right now ahead next.
30s and 40s right here on your hump day. Thanks, Tim.
You're welcome. It's the coldest day of the week here in the afternoon today and going into tomorrow. So we'll see a warm up into tomorrow, I should say. But tomorrow morning, we still could have that threat for near freezing temperatures. So we're not completely gone in a few aspects. But 9 a.m. covering up Midlands of South Carolina, all of our viewing area here, including Thompson, Augusta, Waynesboro, Millen, with the freeze warning until 9, freeze watch, Johnson and Emmanuel County. But the way you look at it, every camera view we show you, it's nice and clear. The temperatures officially are above freezing thanks to this wind at 10 miles per hour out of the west to northwest. Dry air in place, the wind chill, what it feels like with winds and temperature together, 35. So don't let that fool you. We're going to be in for a breezy forecast for the afternoon. Any slowing of the winds, which is still to be expected between 7 and 8 o'clock, those temperatures will drop quickly into the lower and mid 30s. And we still have some out there that are around the freezing mark. Midday planner 51, sunny, but just not warm at all here for today. But we get through this afternoon, getting into Thursday and Friday will be a little nicer because the temperatures will feel more spring-like, but tomorrow morning is still expected to be a cold one. And that wind is still going to be breezy for the next 2 days. We'll look at wind values and the warming trend coming up here in about 8 minutes.
Tim, thanks so much. In just a few hours, thousands of students will walk out of their classrooms, many of them right here in our area.
All of this part of a bigger push for tougher gun laws and more security in schools. Some 3,000 schools are expected to participate. Nikki Batiste now on what students hope will come of it.
At exactly 10 a.m., students from across the U.S. and even other parts of the world will walk out of their classrooms for 17 minutes, 1 minute for each victim of the massacre at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida.
We, the young people of this country, are advocating for change, and we want something to change now.
Organizers at Empower, the youth wing of the Women's March, estimate more than 3,000 schools will participate today. Leading the walkout are the students at Stoneman Douglas High School, who started the movement urging lawmakers to pass tighter gun laws.
I wanted people to know that Stoneman Douglas will be the last school that this happens to. We want it to make a change. We want to be the generation that changes everything.
Another event, the March of Our Lives rally for school safety, is scheduled for Washington, D.C. on March 24th. That demonstration is expected to draw hundreds of thousands of participants. Nikki Batiste, CBS News, Parkland, Florida.
Well, some local schools say they do not think a walkout is the best way to make change happen, but they do say it's important to do something to acknowledge the significance of what happened 1 month ago today.
Our Alexis Allen is live this morning at Evans High School. And Alexis, how are these schools working on security?
Well, Columbia County is not allowing their students to participate in today's walkout. They say they worry it's unsafe for that many students to be outside at once, but they are hearing parents and students out. Just last night, Columbia County's Board of Education moved towards adding more safety officers. They plan right now to have 18 more. They say one at each elementary school. They also talked about giving teachers guns at last night's meeting, but nothing was decided on that. Finally, the school system tells us they're tightening up buzzer doors and reviewing lockdown drills.
We put out a survey to our own faculty and staff, a safety survey, asking them, how safe do you feel at school? If we were to do, how often do you think we should do ALICE training or active shooter trainings? And so we're getting the feedback. That survey went out last week.
Well, Alexis, as you mentioned, a lot of things started brewing last night to get prepared for today. So about today's walkout, what is planned for each school?
Well, as of today, Columbia County says they're allowing their students to voice their concerns in other ways. Richmond and Aiken County are allowing their students to participate in the walkout, but Richmond says they are adding more personnel as needed. The walkout is scheduled to take place at 10 a.m. today, but schools in our local area will probably be doing some type of demonstration or activity throughout the day.
Alexis reporting live for us in Columbia County. Thanks so much.
Okay, parents, we know a lot of you have a lot to say about this, so we asked you to weigh in on Facebook. So far, more than half don't think students should be allowed to participate today, calling it a disruption. Around 35% believe students should be allowed.
In the comments, some of you say you support a walk up, not a walk out. That's where students would walk up to others who maybe are sitting alone and say hi, or just strike up a conversation with folks they might not otherwise talk to. Now, it also suggests saying something kind to 14 students and 3 teachers, representing the 14 students who died and the 3 teachers who died.
And parents, some of you may want to take part too, but you can't go up to the high school. So there's a prayer vigil set for St. John UMC Church. It's on Green Street, set for 10 o'clock this morning, the same time the students plan to walk out. Breaking overnight, a fire at the Millbrook Point Apartments on Skinner Mill Road in Augusta. It broke out in Building 30 around 3 o'clock this morning. We're told only one apartment, though, was damaged in this, and luckily here no one was hurt. We're still working to find out what might have caused it and exactly how many people were affected, but the fire now out this morning.
Also breaking overnight, physicist Stephen Hawking has died. Hawking is considered one of the greatest scientists of our time. He made several breakthroughs in math and science despite battling ALS most of his life. He's best known for his theories on black holes and relativity. Now, his family says he died peacefully at his home in Cambridge. Hawking was 76.
You're taking a live look now at the University of Vermont. You can see the campus blanketed in snow this morning. This one day after blizzards swept across the Northeast.
They just cannot catch a break. This is what most of the region looked like yesterday. Look at the dog, if you can barely see him there. People also braving the storm in Boston, but for the most part, they are hunkered down. Further north, people working to clear some 2 feet of snow.
Oh, and to make matters even worse, more than 200,000 people do not have power.
We put candles in the bedroom and shut the door and use that for heat.
He says because they have no heat. Now, this is a 3rd storm to hit the area in just 2 weeks.
Oof. That's why we live in the South.
That's why we live in the South. A trip to Disney turns into nearly every parent's worst dream.
We got a full starter bus, multiple injuries. They are about 60 feet down in the overpass here. We need as much help as I can get.
As much help as I can get. You can see a charter bus carrying 40 high school students flies off an overpass, plunging nearly 50 feet. The driver killed. 3 dozen students rushed to nearby hospitals.
Now, this all happening around 5:30 yesterday morning near the Florida-Alabama line. Local and federal investigators are trying to figure out what happened here. They're looking into whether the driver fell asleep or maybe even had a medical emergency of some sort. His wife says she believes it was a problem with the bus.
He had just went to the doctor, took a physical. He just called me and said that he was having problems with the bus, that stuff was cutting off, that the TVs and stuff was cutting off on the bus.
Officials say they are surprised this accident wasn't worse. They say it took nearly 4 hours to get everyone cut out of that bus.
We are starting to get more answers, finally, about Janelle Carwell's death. Investigators say they believe her stepfather, Leon Tripp, held her against her will, tied her up, killed her, and then buried her.
He is now charged with cruelty to children and concealing a death, on top of his previous charges of kidnapping and murder. Janelle Carwell's mother, Tanya Tripp, is now charged with second-degree murder. Now, investigators say her latest charge stems from her lying about Janelle's abduction. And we want to hear more about this case, but the more we hear, the more we don't want to hear.
Right. Sheriff Richard Roundtree says he has no doubt the Tripps are responsible for Janelle's death.
There's no doubt at all. We wouldn't have moved forward with the case if we thought that. Now we just need to find the answers and fill in the gaps to the puzzle.
16 years old, around her 16th birthday when she went missing. Officials are still trying to figure out how and when Janelle died. They believe it was sometime between April 16th and May 23rd of last year. Results from an autopsy could come in the next few days, hoping to provide more answers.
Happening today, the Langley Dam is finally coming back to life. An official groundbreaking is set for 5:30 tonight. The dam was closed all the way back in 2014 because of a leak. Now, an $8 million grant from FEMA is helping crews fix it. They'll tear out old pipes and then put in a new spillway. Work is expected to take about a year and a half.
We're getting a closer look at some of the questions you will see when you head to the polls in May. The Board of Elections says both Democrats and Republicans will be asked, should the James Brown Arena stay downtown or be moved to the old Regency Mall site in South Augusta? Republicans will be asked about the future of Pendleton King Park. Democrats will be asked about the renaming of the Calhoun Expressway, the sale of bump stocks in Georgia, and about expanding Medicaid. We've got a full list of those questions for you on our website. Just go to WRDW.com and also the News 12 app.
A 9-year-old from South Carolina is being called a hero this morning. He saved his neighbor crushed while working on a car.
I asked God to help me, give me one more holler, just send an angel by my way. And I hollered the last time, and then I give up.
The victim there, Alan Clemens, says his Mustang fell off the blocks holding it up. He was trapped underneath, he says, for about an hour and a half before making that, he says, quote, his last holler.
Right, and luckily on that last holler, Malachi Coffey heard him.
He was saying help. I think he was saying that he was stuck up under something, but I didn't know what he was talking about.
Malachi used a jack. Now remember, he's 9 years old. He used a jack to get the car off Clemens, then he ran home to get help. Clemens was airlifted to Columbia with 6 broken ribs and a fractured pelvis.
Malachi says his uncle taught him how to use a jack a while ago, and he's glad that skill came in handy. It not only came in handy, it potentially saved this man's life.
9 years old.
Learning a trade skill. How important is that? My goodness, right there. Well done, my man. We're looking here at freeze warnings, unfortunately, back again, covering up across much of Georgia and South Carolina until 9 a.m. We've also got a freeze watch for just 2 select counties down Johnson Emanuel County in the viewing area. But a cold start nonetheless, but thankfully we're above freezing thanks to the winds, about 10 out of the west and northwest, 41 our official temperature. A lot of the temperatures around the metro are sitting at the upper 30s to low 40s. We're in for some wind today and not very warm afternoon highs in the 50s, accompanied with 10 to almost 20 mile per hour winds at midday and continuing through 5. It's going to be a chilly midweek forecast. Those will diminish a bit overnight. We'll start off cold again tomorrow morning, but by Thursday at 5 o'clock and most of tomorrow afternoon, winds will be up there around 10 to 20 miles per hour. Let's take a look at what temperatures kind of sit right now as of just before 7 with clear skies. 30s and 40s. We'll only get up into those mid-50s by lunchtime. Afternoon temperatures there around 6:30 during rush hour and early dinner time hour, 50 to 55 degrees. Cold, breezy finish. One more night of some really cold temperatures, the threshold at least for the near freezing temperatures. That's going to be down at around 7 to 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. You can see those lows are right there near freezing. The better news is we're going to be in for some warmer afternoon highs. Thankfully, moving into the 70s Thursday and Friday, but at least remaining at average or above, upper 60s to low 70s into Sunday. Planner today, clear skies, chilly start, 30s and 40s here between 7 and 8, midday to 5. High temperatures are going to be rather chilly with that wind in the middle 50s. Your time, 6:43.
Well, March Madness is almost in full swing, but don't lock in your picks just yet. Why the math behind the madness says you can bet on at least one of these upsets that could be the difference in your bracket pool.
Picking always is the tough part. All right, Jason, we're looking at the weekend outlook next. We're going to look into St. Patrick's Day forecast, which could have some unfortunate wet weather coming back in. That is next in 3 minutes.
More wet weather coming in. Oh, great. It is 6:44 on this Hump Day Wednesday live. Look now at Wheeler Road. And we hope your day is off to a great start so far. Stick around. A lot more to come. Live look now at the gateway to Grovetown and I-20. Traffic appears to be moving pretty smoothly out there as people get ready to make the most of what they can on this hump day Wednesday. They're going to have to do it with a jacket and a scarf maybe in tow, though, Tim.
I would say probably the entire day, and it is not going to be a very warm outlook. We're sitting with 30s and 40s now, and highs only in the 50s. Now let's get into the weekend. Big weekend. A lot going on here across much of the two-state because it is St. Patrick's Day on Saturday. Outdoor festivities, always a bright highlight for that day. The unfortunate thing is the chance for rain has kind of come back in, looking a little bit higher for the afternoon plans for that parade downtown. 67 degrees for the high. Well, that's one thing we won't have to worry about is a cold weekend outlook. 72 on Sunday with that 30 to 40% chance for showers. Will kind of linger all the way through our St. Patrick's Day weekend. Your time, 6:48.
All right, thank you, Tim. Time is ticking before round one of the NCAA tournament kicks off, which means you don't have a whole lot of time to get this finished. Our Jason Raven turned to an Augusta University math professor for some help, and I'm just looking at your bracket. I'm going to see who you have winning it all.
Well, believe it or not, math might help when you come up with an upset pick that might make or bust your bracket. And well, let's start with what mathematics says not to pick. Don't go for the 16 over the 1. Because that's never happened before. I mean, you can, but it probably won't happen. Watch, I say it now, and somebody's going to win. It's gonna happen. So it's unlikely, and they don't even have a probability in it. But Dr. Neil Smith at Augusta University says there is one upset you can bank on happening at least once in a tournament. Well, all this according to numbers and probability.
So that has to happen 4 times consecutively in the tournament, and we're taking the complement of that. So that says there's about an 83% probability that there will be at least one 12-5 upset during the tournament.
So there you have it, the 12 over the 5. So this year's choices are Davidson over Kentucky, Murray State over West Virginia, South Dakota State over Ohio State, or people are going to hate this one, New Mexico State over Clemson.
Oh, you just made a lot of people mad.
So, there's a bunch of possibilities, but I still haven't finished. You saw the story yesterday. There's 9 quintillion possibilities of filling out the bracket, so I haven't finished mine yet. I'm only doing one this year, so I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but you have Virginia as winning it.
We'll have to see.
I have Villanova.
It's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, but see, now I'm thinking it's not fair to go against you, and you have a mathematician helping you fill out your bracket, Jason.
Did you just say 9 quintillion? Is that really a number? If you tend to return a lot of things, you could get banned for it. We'll tell you how this is going to work out next. 6:49.
Plus, the Northeast is under blankets and blankets of snow. So you think it's cold here. We'll find out how some locals are taking advantage of this. The Northeast is getting its unfair share of snow. So much, some stairs are turning into makeshift slopes.
Well, you can see these guys snowboarding, downing what would usually be a very bumpy ride. This was yesterday in South Boston. Hey, make the best of it.
Yeah, because it is miserable there. It is March 14th, and many of you likely know what holiday it is because of your kids.
Yep, had this conversation with my daughter just the other day. It's Pi Day, like the mathematical one, 3.14. That can also get you some sweet deals on pie with an E. CC's and Your Pie have deals where you can get a meal for just $3.14.
For the sweeter pies, O'Charlie's and Bojangles have special deals as well. Many of your students will likely enjoy the day with their own celebrations, and social media, already exploding.
Happy Pi Day. Well, if you tend to buy a lot of stuff and then return it, you might want to cut back on that habit. Some people are actually getting banned from making returns.
Oh yeah, they're getting banned. Thousands of stores do it to stop suspected fraud. But listen to this. One man was banned for a year for returning 3 cell phone cases to Best Buy.
I understand how they could be concerned with consumer abuse, but you got to have more of a human touch to it.
Best Buy says this is rare, but some return habits could put you at risk. These companies can suspect you of fraud if you return a high dollar amount, return items that tend to get stolen, or return an item close to store closing.
There are a lot of stores that have issues with people wearing clothes. Like if you buy a formal dress and then you bring it back. They check it to make sure that you didn't wear the dress with the tag, and then try to return it.
Right.
Cold bus stop planner here, yeah, it's just
Doesn't that
ridiculous.
happen to your dresses all the time?
Oh man, I can't tell you how much. You hem it up, it's not right, and then you got to take it back, and then they only tell you, no, you can't. It's going to be a cold day. Where this is headed, I have no idea, but I will tell you it's going to be a chilly day. 30s and 40s right now at the bus stop planner. 54 to complete the day out at the school bus. There's a warmer forecast for you, though, tomorrow and Friday.
Thousands of students will walk out of their classrooms today.
Our Alexis Allen is live now at Evans High School in Columbia County with how local students are participating. Alexis?
Columbia County is not allowing their students to participate in today's walkout. They say they feel it's unsafe for that many students to be outside at once, but they are hearing parents and students out.
All right, thanks for that, Alexis. We also have how other local districts are reacting online. This now, a fire at the Millbrook Point Apartments while you were sleeping. Broke out around 3 o'clock this morning or so in Building 30. We're told only one apartment was damaged, and here's the good news. No one was hurt. We're still working to figure out what might have caused it and even how many people were affected. But Tim, a cold morning to be outside.
Well, we've got freeze warnings until 9 all across the board here. Temperatures are sitting right now at 39 officially here in Augusta. If you want to get out there on the canal, you're probably itching to do that. Tomorrow's a lot warmer, but today's outlook 50s by noon and 3 o'clock, 51 to 54. Not to mention that wind is going to be rather cold today, too. One more real cold morning tomorrow in the 20s. Then we'll move into some 70s more consistently through Friday and into next week.
Looking forward to that for sure.
Sounds amazing.
Have a great day, everyone.